That's what this is all about, that we have been facing, that you are facing. This is about power and those that want it in an absolute way. And we just made our decision, which wasn't a decision, and that is we're going to fight back. That we're going to do everything we can to prepare, to resource, to be on the ground, to support our affiliates. And we understood that we had to really get out and be on that stage of public opinion. We had to be able to play in the world of the media, like it or not, where everyone gets their messages and gets their information. We had to know, we had to do it in modern ways. Yes, we had to have Facebook, we had to have tweeters or tweeting or whatever the hell it is. I don't. I really tell our guys, you know, you're one cute phone camera away from disaster. So. And we understood that we had to engage and we had to connect. And not only externally, quite frankly, we had to reconnect internally. And I'm not getting on the ass of our younger members. Please, all of you, but a few of us are a lot younger. This isn't. But we've got to get them to understand what's at stake. And that was our job as we entered into this incredible series of battles in February, in March, in April, and the fight right now continues to go on. And we made a decision as an executive board that we're going to try to pony up and resource every fight that we can. We want to be prudent. We want to be careful with your money. But the fact is that we're not a financial institution. Our job isn't to build wealth. Our job as the IAFF is to make sure that every dollar is available to use to resource and better our members' lives. Move that agenda forward. Fight back on those attacks. And so we set up a fighting back budget. I'm sure Jim has already addressed it, so I won't drag you through it. Except that it took a lot of, not nerve, but to dip into reserves, to say, you know what, we've just got to spend whatever we've got to spend, to see our members beginning to understand the threat, assess themselves $100 in Michigan, assess themselves $100 in Ohio, and prepared to do the second $100 in August. Even the solidarity of our members to go across the border to the north is incredible. I was just in Ottawa, Ontario Convention, 12,000 of our members, 300 at the convention. Yesterday they adopted unanimously to assess their own members, 12,000 of them, $25, and contributed to the IAFF's fighting back budget for the battles that are occurring across the states. Now that's unionism. That's solidarity. And it also reinforces for us that we've got to be prepared to go as far as we can go, as long as we have to go. And I think that effort is beginning to take shape. I can tell you with some significant pride that in Florida, where they face what you face, bargaining attack, paycheck protection, dues deduction. They did not have a right to work. They beat every one of those proposals. Rick Scott, their governor, went from Republican senator to Republican senator, personally called in a chit, and there were enough GOP senators who were willing to stick with the firefighters and the IAFF of Florida, and we beat every proposal back. Oklahoma. Beat back every proposal. Indiana, won every single proposal, dead. New Hampshire, they're attacking collective bargaining, binding arbitration, placing a study committee to report for 2 years. A nice silent death there. Dues deduction deniability in Alabama, we sued the state. We got our injunction. We're going to win that case. They took the dues deduction away, and 30 days later, every single local now has it back in place. Tennessee killed every proposal going forward. Michigan tried to promote public safety officer structure. cops. How about that? Cops and fire. We're going to be one and the same. Throw a set of turnouts in your cruiser. What a bullshit concept. They were doing it. But we had to take it to the people. And in 3 cities, we did that. And 4 Tuesdays ago, every one of the cities, the citizens, after we engaged and we communicated, voted 2-1 to reject the PSO structures in Michigan. And in Ohio, where we had 2 mayors in particular, Lorraine and Elyria, laid off 37 members, 31 members. We were able to get the money through our SAFER program to put every one of those members back to work. The mayors refused to take the money. They wanted long-term concessions. We had to go to the streets, go to the public, go to the press. We put enough pressure on. They had to take that money. We put every one of our members back to work, but we also said, you know what, you're up for election in a month. And 2 Tuesdays ago, both of those mayors are right now looking for work because they're out of office. So we're getting our feet on the ground. We're starting to get a little traction. We got a lot of work to do. We've got 9 recalls in Wisconsin. It's going to cost us a hell of a lot of money. We gotta be in that battle. We gotta make sure we make those recalls. We gotta repeal that SB 5 in Ohio. It's probably going to cost our members in Ohio, with our participation, as much as we spend in the presidential election. But we've got to repeal that law. And while we're doing all of this, and helping and supporting our affiliates, from New York, where I was last Friday, with a mayor who's trying to shut down 20 companies, right here in this great state, the city of Phoenix. We're going to make sure that we re-elect or elect Brian Jeffries to be a city council and all of our members to be mayor, city council, and set the political stage for this state. We're going to be there supporting. I'll line up with you with your union is strong and vibrant union. It's you. We are doing exactly what you've been doing. That is, on balance and over time, succeeding. And over this last 3 years, where we watched the labor movement trend line of membership goes down and down and down, where union density is evaporating, where unions like AFSCME have lost 100,000 members in the last 12 months. UAW lost 90,000 in 16 months. Carpenters lost 80,000 in the last year. Machinists 50,000 in the last 7 months, and the list goes on. And I know you're down maybe a couple of hundred members here. But this IAFF is a union across 2 great countries. The time that we entered this economic crisis in the fall of 2008, until last month, membership of this IAFF has grown 4,000 members. We haven't taken a national dip, not one single member. We're vibrant, we're growing, we're strong. We were able to take our political skills and our legislative skills. Maybe our bragging rights haven't been effective enough. But I can tell you that for the 5,000 jobs that we've been able to fill through SAFER and the 2,670 IAFF members who are back to work, who were laid off and lost their job, this union's doing some pretty good work at a pretty good level. And that's all of it. So these are historic times. It's a seminal moment. It really is a crossroads, the term used so often. This is going to determine whether we continue to prevail and grow, whether we're going to continue to be able to build and improve our members' lives, whether we continue to keep a good, solid, and growing middle class in this country, or whether or not we fail and really let the Koch brothers and all of that ilk prevail. And I can tell you, knowing every one of you in this convention hall, and all of those like you, IAFF leaders at every level. We are prepared to fight. We like nothing in the world. There's nothing this gang likes better than a good fight. And we are ready for it, and we will win, and we're going to do it together. Thank you. God bless you.
Start another discussion, because I don't think you talked about this a little bit, but could you just comment a little bit on the bold move you made about 3 months ago about shutting off the PAC money to all the federal candidates? We'd love to hear you.
Because that's the problem when I kind of do this, then I don't even look at this. I will try not to get overly cranked, but I want to set the stage for this. The political operation that we've all built is really pretty damn simple. It's really built on a premise of, right, you support us, we support you, we'll support you, you support us. I know it sounds simplistic, nonpartisan. We understand there's one party, traditionally, certainly, and historically more committed to worker rights and family, working families, and et cetera. But we really try to take a nonpartisan approach. You have epitomized that right here. And so that's the premise of a political operation that we have built. And we built a brand along the way, the gold and black, which I really encourage, and we've made great progress in getting our affiliates to understand that as branding. Some of our affiliates, they like their red shirts or their blue shirts. It's not about, if you will, just the color of the shirt, but we are building a brand. And we have built a successful brand. Because that gold and black stands for something very, very powerful. And in effect, it really stands for our members. It represents the admiration and the recognition of service and duty and all the goodwill, the charitable work, and the response to people's most tragic and critical time. All of that is really what stands behind that brand. And we built a brand. And then we also, though, said, and that is what we are now saying in louder terms, that with all of that comes accountability. That we've got to be able to hold, and we must hold, those in political office, in that political arena where I always say that's where all the action takes place. You can talk about your contracts, you can talk about your safety and health issues, you can talk about your tax code, a public education system, a vibrant and strong military fighting for our freedoms abroad. You talk about any subject, and everything ultimately leads back to that political arena. Somebody elected to office at some level of government controls everything, or somebody they've appointed. And our job is to understand that in that arena is where we have to be. A lot of our members don't particularly like it. A lot of our members take issue with, maybe the direction we take, but we have got to be in that arena. We cannot afford to let others dictate the outcome, and we live with the result. So we're in the arena. But when you're in that arena, you've got to be willing to hold people accountable. And with accountability comes consequences, or there is no accountability. Now, it's easy to hold Scott Walker accountable, and John Kasich in Ohio, and Rick Scott in Florida, and Snyder in Michigan, and it's easy to hold those types accountable. And then when they fail us, as they have, now comes the consequences. Well, now we're going to come after you with our political power, with our political money, our boots on the ground, and we're going to do everything we can to eliminate you and your kind. Okay, accountability, consequences. But what are you going to do with your friends, your alleged friends? What are you going to do with those that have committed to be with you and that you believe are with you, but they failed you? They set up a series of great disappointments. And this isn't just about failing to pass the National Collective Bargaining Bill. Oh, that's a piece. No, this is about their failure in the original stimulus. About to take care of us as they should. We had to scramble, and we created safer. And okay, but we had to scramble to do that. This is about a series of disappointments. that we've got to fight a proposal like the excise tax, for Christ's sakes? Our friends are going to be bringing forward a proposal to tax our health care plans. This was a pattern of disappointments. And the final trigger was when we did enter into this incredible season. When our friends in Congress, my view, I think our view, failed to stand up and step out. They failed to be willing to use their voice and their power and to fight on our behalf with the same ferocity that our enemies were more than willing to do fighting against us. It was about a state like Massachusetts, a House, 118 Democrats and 38 Republicans passing a restriction on collective bargaining on health care. Ted Kennedy is rolling over in his grave. And where was our congressional delegation? Where was our great Democratic congressional delegation? Where the hell was John Kerry? Where was Ed Markey? Where was Steve Lynch? Where was their voice at least willing to stand up and with outrage say, this isn't what our state stands for, this isn't what our democratic principles are, this isn't how we treat workers and our friends. And that silence, in general, not individually, individual exceptions, that silence finally said to me, we can't be hypocrites. We've got to be willing to hold our friends accountable. And when they fail us, there has to be consequences. And that was the basis of the decision where I said, we are turning the spigot off. Not another penny to another federal incumbent, federal candidate, federal PAC, federal leadership PAC, federal committee, federal caucus, not another damn penny until they start standing up, stepping out, and fighting on our behalf. That's what we're doing. And we're not going to make a knee-jerk reaction changing our position. We're not doing this as a stunt. We're not doing this as 9-year-olds, you know, we didn't get our way. This is really much deeper. This is principle. And this is whether or not those that are our friends think we have no other place to go. We're going to be taken for granted. I love the one, well, the alternative is worse. No, we've said, no, you've got to perform. And they're beginning to do that. In the House last week, the only amendments, the appropriation bill on the House floor that added money to the bill was the La Tourette amendment, along with the waiver language by Price, the first passing 333 to 87, and the second one passing 200, I think 64 to whatever the number was. They passed it, even in light of the position we've taken. I think they're beginning to get it. And as they show progress and a willingness to really stand with us, then we'll be back in that political arena and do what we've done throughout our history.